solidarity into action. So into every TD in that chamber, every government TD to that chamber tonight, I want them to know that the people are watching, that history is watching tonight. And we call on every single person in there tonight to vote yes to the sanctions against the State of Israel bill. Gur Mila Mila Mahaka. From the river! From the river! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Gur Mila Mahaka.
Thanks, Francis. Okay, we're just making a little bit more noise before we get our next speaker. Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Sanctions now!
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 From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Okay, our next speaker is Jim Roach from the Irish anti-war movement.
Thank you, Richard. Let's make more noise. Irish government, sanction Israel! Irish government!
Sanction Israel!
Irish government!
Sanction Israel!
Irish government!
Sanction Israel!
Irish government!
Sanction Israel!
Isn't it amazing that in a poor time of the 1950s, Ireland was much more peaceful than it is now, that it was able to promote peace around the world? I refer to our neutrality, and I refer to the signing of the Non-Proliferation Treaty, which ironically was done and promoted by Fianna Fáil and by a Fianna Fáil minister. And look at what's happening now. Ireland is getting involved in militarism, it's ignoring genocide, it's complicity in genocide through allowing this trade with Israel that was being talked about, but also allowing US warplanes to travel through Irish airspace many times en route to Israel. This is incredible. So we have to consider the erosion of neutrality at the same time as the militarization of the world and the horrible events that are taking place in Palestine, in Lebanon and in Iran. And we say very clearly this has to stop, and the Irish government's complicity has to stop. So I want to quote Mohammed Shahada, who spoke on, you can watch it back on Democracy Now! Podcast, and he's a really good researcher and speaker, based in Switzerland, I think, from Palestine originally. And he gave an example of an event along the so-called yellow line, which is an invisible line, false line, and if you see, these are two Israeli politicians talking to each other quite openly about this. If you see a man on a donkey, who do we shoot first? And they say, oh, let the donkey live. So that's how bad it is. This is the Moshe Dayan template. Or if Palestinians try to stay in Palestine, they will be treated like animals, and that's what's happening. That's what genocide means. So we say, stop the trade with Israel. No dual-use goods going to Israel. No Israeli products on Irish shelves. No military airplanes going through Irish airspace en route to Shannon. Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
Irish government, sanction Israel! Irish government!
Sanction Israel!
Irish government!
Sanction Israel!
Irish government!
Sanction Israel!
And lastly, a huge thank you to Richard and People Before Profit and all the parties that are supporting him in bringing this bill forward. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jim. I'd like to bring up next some of our political supporters in the Dáil, and I really thank them for the support for this bill. And the first of those is Ruth Coppinger from Solidarity. Please give her a round.
So we all watched before we came here the scenes of the genocidal psychopath Ben-Gvir mocking and taunting the flotilla activists as they were cable-tied, put in the stress position, and mocked in front of the world. And the only saving grace was a woman with an Irish accent who shouted pretty much in his face, "Free Palestine." Fair play to her. And obviously she was immediately grabbed and pushed to the ground. But the bravery of that woman in comparison to the majority of TDs in there speaks volumes. Now, this is Ben-Gvir of the death penalty, of the noose on the birthday cake, as has been said. But can you imagine if any other state held captive 41 Irish citizens over the last number of months, tortured them, in full public view, that they wouldn't be facing sanctions? It's just absolutely incredible. Not alone that, but inviting them over here to play football. No hard feelings, sure. Different rules apply to the State of Israel, be it the Eurovision, be it the World Cup, be it sports, and of course, be it trade. And the fact that the EU still continues to give favoured trade status to a genocidal state is just some indictment of that institution. The EU is the largest trading partner with Israel, with trade accounting for 32% of Israel's trade. So it would have a real impact if the EU imposed sanctions. It wouldn't have much of an impact on the EU though, because it's only 31st, that Israel is in terms of trading partners. So it could do it without much cost, but it chooses not to. And it chooses not to because Israel is such a vital cog in the geopolitical imperial, setup in the world right now. And just to give you an idea of the unprecedented sanctions that they brought in against Russia over the invasion of Ukraine, they've even sanctioned countries that verbally support Russia. They haven't even just sanctioned Russia. So 2,700 Russian individuals and companies and entities have been sanctioned. There's a travel ban on Russians. There's none on Israel. They're keeping 3,000 seats in the Aviva Stadium for these fans. I just want to echo, there's no way that that's going to happen.
Yes!
If you remember the Gazan children that they wouldn't let in here to play GAA sports, and they're letting 3,000 racists in here. Now tonight's bill is exactly what is needed. By far the largest exporter of products between Ireland and Israel, and it's shameful, 3.2 billion in trade between Ireland and Israel, but we know most of it, 3 billion of it roughly, is one company, Intel. And I think it speaks to the foreign direct investment model, the model of Irish capitalism that's held so dear by Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and others in there. That is what is impeding them doing anything. The tax haven status, most of this is to hide tax and evade tax. It's not even real. But there is such, personnel being exchanged between Intel Israel and Intel Ireland. That is absolutely shameful that is taking place. And the sister facility in Leixlip has great relations with Intel in Kiryat Gat, and I think we need to call out that company a lot more than we do. Now, I just would ask you to spare a thought though for the Irish government. It really isn't easy. It's not easy. It's a tightrope. You have to walk. You have to look like you publicly support the people of Palestine, because obviously most of the population do, and you say you do, but don't actually do anything to back it up. It is not easy. New excuses have to be invented all the time. Poor Helen McEntee only in the job, and she said it was going to be her priority, and then she had to walk it back. And the latest is that we can't do it, even though I think 350 lawyers now have stated that it can be done. But imagine, you know, your two best pals, Spain and Slovenia, pass similar acts and you can't. You know, that is not easy, so I would ask you to spare a thought for I just want to finish by saying that all of this, and the Ireland-Israel game, the thing that we can control is the Ireland-Israel game. That's up to us. They're not going to do it unless we persuade them to do it.
Okay.
But a bit like the water charges, this is in our hands, this one. You know, we can mobilise, we can put the pressure on, and we can stop those games. And we have to. They have absolutely no moral backbone. I said it before in the Dáil last week. Imagine that racist Bertie Ahern did more to stop sports washing than that lot are doing by, you know, not giving the visas to the Yugoslavs. You know, Charlie Haughey as well, like calling in the IRFU and telling them that the game was up. But yet, you know, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael now have absolutely no moral principle. They represent nothing. There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. And we have to make sure that we are the ones that cancel that game. You know, public meetings in areas, my own area is doing one, and building up the pressure. And just finally as well, I would just say colonialism and racism are two sides of the same coin. Right? And we've seen horrific racism in this country in the last number of years, but particularly this week. I want to send my solidarity, and I'm sure everyone here does, to the relatives and the friends